Hello guys, welcome to yet another episode of Auto Connect Wednesday Night Live. And here we answer your car related questions. Na sasa leo we want to start on a high note because kuna story fulani zimekuwa zikiendelea pale X. And before we get that, we would like to first of all take your greetings. Mnatusalimia, mnatuwatch mkiwa wapi? Just the way we do it. Where are you watching us from? And then hiyo ni kitu ingine tunataka tuongee leo as we answer the car related questions. Na pia the Chinese you see the Chinese coming into the Kenyan market. So I'm just confirming whether we have internet hapa na watu wangu, and it seems we are okay. Also, if you're watching us, you can confirm sound kama sound iko sawa. Na leo we are shooting live from Prince Drive Garage hapa Mirema First Avenue kwa jamaa anaitwa Mwaura. So let's start na salamu. We have Atieng Frederick tuned in from Usenge, and Atieng, I was in Luanda last weekend. Nilikuwa nimekuja kudeliver hapo Isuzu D-Max. Kali safi sana huko. Na asanteni sana watu wa Luanda. Thank you so much. We have David Mutama watching from diaspora. Asante sana David from diaspora. I can see he has a question, and a very interesting question, but we'll get to that after we pick the greetings. Reside KE, hey Wakabi. We also have Kenyan Mafia from Kirugoya. Tuko na mtu anaitwa Cromwell Sunday from Kapsabet. Salimiana hapo Namgoi sana. Watu wa Kapsabet ni marafiki zangu sana. Kuna Subaru Forester SK9 tuleta hapo X-Brake edition ya wakili anaitwa Latif. So ukimuona hapo usalimia yeye sana, mwambie Wakabi ametuma salamu. We have Josh Homan is glad to be here. Karibu sana Josh. I'm also happy to be here with you. Last Wednesday we dropped an episode about Subaru problems. We figured that episode, the length of that episode needed to have to be on a Wednesday because hiyo ni vitu zilikuwa yes, we discussed that, and we are also going to continue discussing this. Na by the way wase, kesho tuko na another episode ya Beyond the Speed, tomorrow being Thursday night, and it's going to tackle ambulances. There is a lot that many people don't know about ambulances, and tomorrow we are going to have that. So kesho saa 2 kamili ingia pale Auto Connect Kenya. There is a very nice episode ya how ambulances operate. By the way, did you know that ambulance inasimamishwa na Karao? Kesho on Auto Connect. In fact, as we speak, the video is currently on Premiere. Haya, tuendelee. Cornelius Rono watching from Mogogosiek. Watu salimiana hapo Mogogosiek sana. Salimia Mbogi Alitain, wakiteremka hapo chini Bomet. Those are good friends of mine also. Watu huko ni watu wanakananga musiki na ni watu wa karimu sana. Daniel Kinai saying Mount Elgon Cheptais wako. Daniel Kinai Cheptais has very good memories. Na kwa na very good memories at Cheptais because in the year 2018 or 2018 or 2019 we went to Cheptais for the Jumbo Charge, and I showed up in a Toyota Vanguard. Na ikafanya watu waduae because sometimes kuna magari unadharau pale na hizo magari zinakuanga fiti. So Mbogi ya Chwele Cheptais kwenda Bungoma Kandui wasalimia sana pia. They are good friends of mine. So although these days Jumbo Charge is more towards the, I remember after the Cheptais one, the next one was in Labot. Lafsa hiyo ingine, hizi zingine zinakuanga hii pande ya hii mali ingine inaitangwa wapi hapa Endebess, Kiptogot hiyo area. So Kuku Tatu is watching from Jinja. Cromwell is saying USK9 ni gari la hii town, very amazing unit. Thank you so much bana, yo ukiniona unatuona. Drake Kevin is tuned in live from Saudi Arabia. Okay. Alex Kaka is from Saudi Arabia tuned in, and Benson Otonda from Maseno kama kawaida. Otonda nilipitia hapo kwenye Maseno usiku sana. Na kuna base fulani hapo inakuanga na a very good Meru lady who serves very good meals hapo Maseno. Na kuna jamaa hapo waiter yake noma sana, anaitangwa, wanamuitanga nini? wanamwitanga Maragoli. Sawa. So let's get to the questions. First of all, we start with the very first question that was asked by David Mutama. Ilikuwa inasema, is the Probox 4-wheel drive reliable? Yes, Probox 4-wheel drive is preferred, especially by guys from areas such as, I don't know the relationship, but if you look at most of the 4-wheel drive Proboxes inaendanga Kisii, most areas of Kisii. They're also in very high demand areas of Meru, some areas of Meru, and some other places uko Nyandarua, though they are specific, actually sold to clients who want specifically Probox 4-wheel drive. Now there was a very rare version that was a 4-wheel drive na ilikuwa manual. So reliability is there. The only reason why people don't like the 4-wheel drive ones is they believe it consumes more fuel. That is one. And the reality of that is, yes, it is heavier, it has more moving parts. So there is a difference in fuel economy, but it is almost negligible. So the other thing why people dislike the 4-wheel drive Proboxes and 4-wheel drive Fielders, Axios is because when it comes to replacing the bushes za huko nyuma, inakuanga kazi mingi sana. So the problem is not the car. The problem is sometimes mechanics want to do some work at the back na ni kazi mingi. So most of them would dislike working on a 4-wheel drive Probox, especially with the suspension maintenance. Now, if we shift over to rear-wheel drive vehicles like the Mark X, the Mark II, and the Crown, also mechanics do not like them much. And this is because of the 4-wheel drive setup hapa mbele. And ukiangalia engine ya Mark II ama ya Mark X ya 4-wheel inakuanga tofauti. The sump is different, and that is because of the subframe is different because of the additional drive shafts and stuff like that. So they are not unreliable. I hope to go hapo tumeelewana eh. So yes, the 4-wheel drive Probox is something that I would buy any day, anytime. Tuone hiyo the second question ziko wapi? Watu wako wapi? Aching Frederick anasema ati hii homa yako imepersist. Uko sure haiko Windows stage? Windows stage ni ya ile ugonjwa wengine. But actually homa imeisha baba. Ilikuwa mbaya. Let's continue. Let's see. Justin Sereti is watching from Kampala. Fan Hatari. Thank you so much. Maybe soon we might. There is a certain Land Rover mechanic in Kampala who is known. He's one of the best mechanics on Land Rovers in East Africa. Yes, and maybe sometimes later this year we'll pay him a visit and hear his side of the story. Kampala has some very interesting car stories from within. And with our new series now, we'll be covering more of that as well. But we'll not stop being your number one car buying guide, because our Wednesday night lives will be dedicated to cars. And also, we're going to have an extra episode every week that will be focusing on the car market starting next week. So stay tuned. Big things are coming. Swali ingine ilikuwa hapa. About somebody was asking about something hapa. David Kamau is saying, si tutakufa tukingojea review ya D-Max V-Cross Kipchoge edition 3 liter. David Kamau nilikuambia, the moment umepata hiyo gari hapo, tell us, we'll do a review. Once it's available, just call me. I'll personally go review it. Problem is availability, not us. Yeah. There was a question, somebody was asking about the Subaru new generation engines. So basically, the new generation Subaru engines are quite different from the older engines. You see, the older engines were mostly belt-driven. The newer engines are chain-driven. The older engines had the oil filter under the engine. The new age engines have an oil filter hapa juu. The other significant difference is it's probably in the valve train and also a few things here and there, plus also the general engine design, because these new age Subaru engines are more susceptible to, they are more susceptible to bad oil. And that is because with pushing for lower emissions and better fuel economy, sometimes you're forced also to push the engineers further. So you'll find that if you use bad oil on the new age Subaru engines, they are likely to be more problematic than the older ones. The older ones would stand abuse, only that you'll have to change the head gasket once in a while. But which new age Subaru engines are we talking about? We're talking about the FA20, FA16, FB20, FB25. There's another one called the CA18 Turbo, plus a few others. But Subaru has kept the flat 4 design. So they are more efficient. In terms of performance, we cannot say they are better compared to the EJ20s. The EJ20s and the EJ25s, they were not, but the turbocharged ones were not the fastest, but they gave you the thrill. These other ones, well, I would not say they are built for enthusiasts. The new age Subaru engines are built for efficiency and for moving from point A to point B. Most people argue that Subaru has lost the thrill that we knew Subaru for, and we have seen that mostly by Subaru withdrew from motorsports, and now their vehicles are more centric to the people who would be buying crossover SUVs to move from point A to point B, yani watu wa kawaida. But at least they still retain their symmetrical all-wheel drive system and their flat 4 engines that guarantee you better stability. And the other thing that Subaru has, I must say, has grown in is in terms of safety. Yes, because Subarus these days are safer than ever. So you're guaranteed of safety in Subarus. That's what I'm saying. The design philosophy on Subarus has really changed. Tuendelee na hizi maswali zingine. The informer is saying, hello Eric, thank you for this amazing show. Suzuki SX4 Cross AWD and Honda Fit Hybrid has 500k difference. Do you feel it's justified? What would you pick for a daily? The informer, I would pick the SX4, not because of fuel economy. I keep on saying that it's not every day that you look at fuel economy. Fuel economy is not necessarily the primary factor that you go for when you're choosing a car. I would go for the SX4 for the following reasons. One, it has better ground clearance compared to the Honda Fit. It is bigger. It is more versatile because it can take you, it's a soft roader. It can take you for mild off-roading, especially if it comes with the all-wheel drive system that Suzuki calls All Grip. In terms of fuel economy, the fuel economy on the SX4 is not that bad. Yes, the Honda Fit Hybrid has better fuel economy, but the SX4 also does not have bad fuel economy. So I would go. My biggest problem with the SX4 is how it looks. Yeah, but uzuri ni, when you're driving a car, you drive it from the inside. You don't drive it from the outside. So the people who have a problem with the looks are the people who are outside the car. So, na pesa si yao, it's your money, it is your car. So it is none of their business. So I would pick the SX4 any day, anytime. ITEL writer saying, Bwana CK, nafaa kuchange automatic gearbox fluid ya 110 after how long? ITEL writers, ideally it should be around 100,000 kilometers. But with Toyotas, no, to be safe, you can do 50,000. It can push to 100k if you use genuine fluid. But also as the car grows older, the wear and tear pia ni mingi. So do it at 50, use genuine Toyota ATF. Na hiyo gari hata ukikosa kuichange hakuna kitu kubwa itafanyika. But it's good to observe the general maintenance of the vehicle. Zaki is saying, 2019 Mazda CX-5 all-wheel drive 2.5 non-turbo. How reliable is it? Why is it rare kwa showrooms locally? Zaki, it is not rare. In fact, najua mahali kunazo kama tatu. I drove one to Lake Ellis sometimes towards the end of last year, and it was an amazing ride. Actually, would I buy a 2.5 liter non-turbo CX-5? I would, because it's probably the most reliable engine option there is in the CX-5. So yes, they are not rare. Ziko ni venye watu, you see, most people will prefer either the 2-liter turbo, no, not the 2-liter turbo, the 2.2-liter turbo diesel, or the 2.5-liter turbo petrol, or the 2-liter. The 2-liter is very lazy. And come to think of it, the difference in fuel consumption between the 2-liter on the Mazda CX-5 petrol and the 2.5 liter non-turbo is almost negligible. So I would go for the 2.5 because you get extra power, extra torque, and that engine is very, very reliable. Alafu tena, that engine is also mated to a very good gearbox, so you will have minimal worries. We proceed. Ayepo you'll be saying, hello mkuu, tunapenda Suzuki Swift. How is reliable? Apart from some that had CVT issues, but you should not be afraid to drive a Suzuki Swift for long distances. Emmanuel 53, Emmanuel is saying, my Mitsubishi Lancer has an even rev while idling. What could be the reason? Well, there could be so many reasons. The throttle could be a problem. There could be excessive carbon buildup. So the best thing is to have it checked. Yes, I would say it's not very good to because basically uneven revs means there is probably an even flow of air into the combustion chambers. So angalia kwanza kutoka kwa throttle, air cleaner, hizo vitu. But the best advice would be take it to a garage and have it checked. Na kama uko Eldoret, tuko na garage pale Pioneer, it's called Neon Mobility. Kama uko Nairobi, you can visit us at Prince Drive Garage, hapa Mirema First Avenue. Futures Lover is saying, hello Bwana CK, the 3.5 liter V6 on the Range Rover Classic, is it reliable despite being thirsty? If I had money, I would go for that engine because of the sound. It's not bad. Well, I would say it is not bad. It is not bad. Apart from Kukunywa, it is not a bad engine. I would not call it bad because if you're just one, it can withstand a little bit of abuse. I'm not telling you to abuse engines. I'm just saying it's a safe zone on the Range Rover as long as pia maintain fiti so that does not develop some funny problems. I would say it's more reliable compared to the diesel options on the same vehicles. So wait a minute. Futures Lover, is it the 3.5 V6 or is it a V8 on the Classic? Not the red Classic. Futures Lover, yes, it is the 3.5 V8 baba. Ningeshangaa sana. That engine is unkillable. Shida tu ni ati inakuanga na carburetor mbili. Yeah, my friend called Kimani from Naivasha. Kwanza pale anakuanga na two cottages mahali hapo, a nice place called but if you guys are going for the safari rally, you can consider him. He has very nice cottages around what do you call this place? Somewhere around Kedong. So you can go speak to him. He's going to give you very good rates. Ambia kupatie rates za Okabi. So I've driven his Range Rover Classic. It is rusty, very rusty, but that V8 sound with twin carburetors, manzi, it's music to the ears. Yeah. So if you have money, it's something that you should go for. Tyson Ochola is saying, hi Wakabi, talk about the Mitsubishi 4G15. 4G15s were not bad engines. They are not bad. I would not call them. You see, that was the golden age of cars. They were not building. Tyson Ochola I'll get back to because I believe there are some other intricate things I will want to talk about. But allow me to first of all take these other questions. Francis Dirito is saying, hi Eric, kindly on locally used Toyota Hiace as a first time buyer with a budget of 1 million. Locally used Toyota Hiace, if you have a budget of 1 million, I will not lie to you that you're going to get a clean vehicle. Unless you're buying the H100, ile ilikuwa inaitwa 5L. But if you're buying the 200 series, or what people call box, ama kwa jina ya mtaa wanaita 7L, which is a mtaa nomenclature, hiyo si jina inafaa kuwa inatumika ya hiyo gari. Those ones utanunua imechapa sana, especially if you're getting a diesel one. So the only hack for you to get a clean Toyota Hiace H100 ama hii box would be to buy a petrol one, and the petrol one has one disadvantage. It is very lazy and the fuel consumption. However, if it is for light duty, you're going to get it's going to be of assistance. Kama ni ya kubeba abiria hapo itakuwa hard small. So maybe you can tell us, are you looking for one for private duties, for matatu, Hiace? Tell us, because that will inform the decision whether you can buy a petrol one or you can run away from a petrol one, because 1 million you can get a very clean petrol one, but for a diesel one utapata gari imechoka sana. I tell right saying ni homa ama ni jet lag haijaisha. No, jet lag ni homa tu. Homa, unajua sasa Achie Ngochola anasema niko window stage. Sasa sijui kama ni ukweli. Dennis Gidenji is saying, "How Wakabi best engine oil for 1NR Vits na mbona Vits huharibu water pump sana?" Dennis Gidenji, the Vits and the water pump issue, I would say it is quite common. Just like in some fielders with the 1NZ, also you would find some of them had their water pumps would fail quite frequently. These are some of the problems that you cannot really tell where they originate from, but they are mostly manufacturer defects. Let's head to the oil. The best oil depends on the mileage of the vehicle. If it's extremely high mileage, you can go for a thicker oil. If it's not very high mileage, you can go for an average oil like a 5W30 or 5W40. Sawa. Benson Otona saying, "Hey Eric, I have a layman question. Is it possible to swap new engines of Subaru engines to old models like SG5 to improve efficiency and being lazy, like the FB20 to huh? Oh yes, like the FB20 to EJ20. I would not say it is not possible, but it is a lot of work. In fact, if you look at the magnitude of work, I would say it is not economically viable. Because one, you're basically downgrading the vehicle. We are looking at a new wiring harness, new ECU, new gearbox, new drive shafts. You probably, it's almost like buying a new car. So instead of getting an EJ20 in a new Forester, you'd rather just buy another car. Ama just save your dough nunue gari iko na mbio. Kevin 12 is saying, talking of Mark 2, kuna moja jirani yangu ako nayo KX. How reliable is that vehicle? Tell us about it. Kevin, I drive a Mark 2 GX 110. It's probably the most reliable vehicle I've ever had. Kwa zile magari zote nimekuwa nazo. It's the most comfortable kwa zile magari zote nimekuwa nazo. It's not the most fuel economical, but it is manageable. 1G, so also find out which engine is it coming with. Inakuja na 1G, inakuja na 1JZ ama 2JZ. Is it 2 liter or 2.5? The other thing is, the common problem with the Mark 2s is normally the front ball joints. Ziuisha sana. So the solution normally is just go and buy aftermarket ones from reputable brands. Usinunue extra, nunua mpya. Hata unaweza enda import like some proper brands like Febi, like there's Febi, there's also another one. There are some very good brands of these ball joints that will last a very long time. So yes, Muriuki Barigi is saying pokea salamu. Nimepokea sana bwana Muriuki. Pajero iko wapi bana, umeificha sana. Daniel Kenai is saying, for Peugeot, should I fear it because of wet timing issues? How do you compare the Peugeot 208 Pure Tech Edition versus Suzuki RS Hybrid? First of all, that Suzuki RS Hybrid is not a full hybrid, it's a mild hybrid. So you do not get much savings in terms of fuel because, you know, yes, it's a mild hybrid. It's not, if you compare it to full hybrids like or true hybrids like the Honda Fit, the Toyota Vitz hybrid, it's hizo zinakunywa fiti kuishinda, and that's because it's a mild hybrid. Well, when you talk about the Peugeot 208, the wet timing is, I would say, depends on if you're a car enthusiast or if you're a point A to point B person. Because one thing, you have to be very careful with that wet timing, that wet timing belt system, because once the belt starts wearing out, it starts to chip. Na hizo vitu sometimes zinaenda zina block the oil galleries inside in the engine, and once they clog, you find that you're going to have little or no oil in the upper part of the engine, na sasa that will make the engine seize or knock. ama utapata tu hizo gari zi kunywa oil tu in a funny way, and that is because of oil galleries in a clog, wear and tear inaingia, gari na kunywa oil. So if you're buying a Peugeot 208 PureTech, make sure that timing, that valve train is maintained meticulously, and also get a genuine timing kit. Usinunue hizi substandard, get a genuine one. It might be expensive, but if you stick to genuine parts, that vehicle is going to serve you for a very long time. I have clients who have had these cars for 3-4 years counting, and they are still problem free. But hiyo gari kikaribia 100,000 kilometers, change your timing haraka, faster. Futures Lover is saying, hello, Bwana CK. 3.5 liter V8 Range Rover. Is it reliable? Yes, it's quite reliable. It's very reliable. Kevin Mutegi is saying, hey, Eric, I recently acquired a Toyota Crown Athlete GRS 200 2009. Which is the best engine oil you would recommend for service? Well, it depends on the mileage. But for that one, you see, these cars are not very, very sensitive on oil. As long as you're not using a very... Okay. So, oh yes, I'm back online. Sorry, I was not getting the feed. So we were discussing about the GP7 2-liter. Well, it's a good car, but it's good. It's important that if it's a 2-liter, that's probably the FB20. Make sure if it's low mileage, 0W20 as recommended by Subaru. If it's over 80,000 kilometers, try to shift towards 5W30 engine oil. Yes, so hapo tuko pamoja. Well, the other thing is the Lineatronic CVT. Make sure you use genuine Subaru CVT oil for the gearbox. It will serve you longer. Yes, don't abuse the car. Don't drive it. You need to drive it gently, especially with these new age CVTs. So as long as you drive the vehicle properly, as long as you use the proper lubes, as long as you don't abuse the car, it will serve you for a very long time. So, na pia ukifinya hiyo gari ovyo itakunywa sana, but if you drive it the way it should, it will give you decent fuel economy. Now we are heading somewhere. David Kamau is saying the Isuzu 4JJ3 TCX, can it be tuned to crazy numbers than the 1GD? So underrated. 4JJ3 is actually a very good engine, but in terms of it getting tuned, Isuzu are very stingy with their software. So it might be hard to get an aftermarket tune on a 4JJ, but it's a good engine. The 1GD can be tuned to crazy numbers. Yes, in fact, even the manufacturer argues that they can tune that 1GD. It's only that they can't say openly, but now say they tell you the tunability of the 1GD is crazy. In terms of the 4JJ3, we don't have a lot of aftermarket support. Also, we don't have the what do you call it? We don't have a lot of Isuzu diesel enthusiasts around. But even using that engine stock, it's a masterpiece. So if you want to get a little more power from it, you would have to dig deeper to get people who can actually tune it. But locally, I don't know anyone who tunes Isuzu engines. But in terms of its tunability, it's also a very, Isuzu builds very strong engines and very durable engines. So yes, you can get some decent power figures from it. About getting more power figures kushinda 1GD, I don't know. I don't know if it can supersede the figures that you can get out of tuning a 1GD, but generally you can tune it if you have the access to somebody who can tune an Isuzu diesel engine. Kevin Wekesa is saying, good evening, Eric. Kindly do a review on the Mitsubishi Outlander new model. New model gani baba? Ina depend ni unataka ya 2026, unataka ya 2018, because those ones I believe we have done some of them. So just be specific on that one, Kevin. Samuel 3630 saying, I've been using 5W30 on my 2018 XB, but I want to switch to 0W20. Should I do it? Is oil consumption a concern at 75,000 kilometers? Yes, oil consumption at 75,000 kilometers is a concern. And now that you're moving from 5W30, I don't want to be the devil's advocate here. And also I don't want to be the prophet of doom. But if you're using 5W30 on an XV na inakunywa oil, probably you have kuna wear and tear may happen, because between 0 mileage to around 80,000 kilometers, you should generally be running on 0W20. And that is because of how that engine is designed. Those oil galleries have some very tiny strainers huko ndani. So if you've been running on 5W30 and you're noting that oil level inaanguka, I think you should take that vehicle, ipeleke pale Subaru Kenya kwa Mwai, angalie hiyo gari kama inakunywa oil. It's very important, so that if it's burning oil, it's not too late to do an engine overhaul on it. If it's not burning oil, I would recommend just continue using the 5W30. Futures Lover is saying, thank you for the feedback, Nikki. Tuendelee. Okay. I'm looking for another one. How reliable are Subarus now that most of them have CVTs? They are very reliable, by the way. Unaona pia Mambaru wanazitumia. They would not call them unreliable. They only become unreliable if you use the wrong lubes, because right now they are very sensitive to CVT fluid and to engine oil. Kevin Mutegi is saying, which is the best engine service for Toyota Crown Athlete GRS 2000? Kevin Mutegi, what do you mean by engine service oil? The best. Kevin Mutegi, has that car had an engine overhaul before? Ama mileage yake ni kama ngapi? Sawa. Okay, Kevin is asking, hello Okabi, mbona unique cars in Kenya, the likes of Escalade, have SSD number plates? Mostly because they are owned by people from South Sudan. Michael Ekambi saying, hi Okabi, Mazda Demio, Honda Fit, and the Toyota Vitz 1300cc in all specs. Which one is more reliable, easy to maintain? My budget is around 600k. If you're talking about 600k, I think we are talking about the Demio, the second gen Demio, kale ilikuwa inaitwa Kamayai. All these cars are very good, but I would say the one that doesn't have a notable flaw is actually the Honda Fit, because the Vitz, kuibiwa, vandalism, parts are quite pricey. The Demio, the older one, the second gen Demio, hiyo nayo iko na ile the rear torsion beam, you katika sana, especially if the car is overloaded ama inaenda place kuna rough road mingi. But I'm not saying it's a bad car. In fact, it's a very good car. But out of all this, if you're looking at value-wise, the Fit is the most spacious, and also probably its reliability levels are. Allow me to withdraw the term probably. Its reliability rating is actually very, very, very impressive. Frank Mugendi is saying, review truck sasa. No, truck reviews are coming, by the way. You just stay tuned. Kuna vitu kali sana zinakuja. Tumereview truck moja, tumereview Isuzu TX baba. I don't know if you have watched that review. Look for it in the channel. So trucks tumeanza. Mr. Mongi Chege is saying, hello CK, is a Toyota Hilux SAF 2700 to TR a good car for a daily driver? Is it four-wheel drive due to its lighter weight compared to the Prado J120 with the same engine? Does it consume better? Mr. Mwangi Chege, I'll tell you one thing for free. The SAF is a good car. It's basically a Toyota Hilux. Now, if you're going towards a SAF with a 2TR engine, the 2TR is a 2700cc four-cylinder, naturally aspirated petrol engine. It is known for its reliability, but it's also known for its laziness and its bad fuel consumption. So, in as much as it is the same engine on the J120, the J120 with the 2700cc engine, not unless wewe ni mzee, it is not the best engine to have on a J120 because it's slow and it's very thirsty. On a SAF, it is still thirsty, it is still slow. But in terms of reliability, it is very reliable. It will hardly give you problems. So I think it's all a matter of choose your poison. But you would find a Fortuner with a 2KD, it will probably be the best bet. But now 2TR amtaisumbuana. You know, they say every cloud has a silver lining. Sawa. Tuendelee. Kevin Duke is saying, hi Eric, the Toyota succeed with manual transmission Why Toyota succeed with manual transmission mostly sold at cheap prices. If you find one niambie, because natafuta moja manual na base naona si cheap. So if you find one, just let me know. Boniface Gashanja is saying, would you recommend a Peugeot 3008? Yes, it's a nice car. If you maintain it visually, it's a good car. And now that the world is a global village, you can import parts from anywhere. It's a good car. Carl Peter is saying, hello CK, what are your views on the Mazda Axela Sport? It's a brilliant car. It's an amazing car. Sheila Sam is saying, hey Wakabi, swali mkuu, between Mazda CX-5 Petrol 2500cc or Mazda or Subaru Forester 2500cc 2020-22 models, which one would you recommend and why? I will go for a very personal choice. Maybe I would go for the Mazda CX-5 for this reason: the gearbox. The CX-5 will come with a six-speed torque converter automatic gearbox, which is very reliable. It's on very rare occurrences that you hear a Mazda CX-5 has had a gearbox. Most of the time, you will not get all-wheel drive as standard. Sawa, hapo tumeelewana hadi hapo. So my personal choice would be a 2.5 liter and a CX-5 all-wheel drive. It will be better than the Forester in so many aspects. High interior. Daniel Chomba is saying, I have a Toyota Hiace Super GL1 GT 2019 model. Can you? Yes. Daniel Chomba, niandikie message WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is 0710 844 863. Nataka hiyo Super GL. Kwanza hiyo ikiwa na 1GD baba, hiyo ni mshale. You should be telling them about it. That's an amazing car you have there. By the way, tuchapiane tupige review hiyo gari. The Super GLs were amazing. So 0710 844 863, drop me a message there. Peter Mkusu is saying, hello Wakabi, would you recommend a 2016 Subaru XV with FB20 for first time owner? I heard that those FB20 engines are very problematic. Peter Mkusu, last week Wednesday we had a very long video about these new age Subaru engines. FB20s, by the way, are not problematic. They are only problematic to people who use the wrong lubes. Actually, shida hizo engines ni oil too. Oil na oil filter. That's the only problem. If you get the oil and the oil filter right, you have an amazing car. So yes, it is a good car for a first-time car owner. But ni vizuri, inspect that car. Make sure that you're not ufunikwi huziwi gari mbovu. Enoch Mwange saying, hello Wakabi, mimi napenda Nissan, especially the T31 series. Kindly advise me on how I should live with one. The T31 was not bad. In fact, the gearbox on a T31 is very affordable compared to the gearbox of a T32. The one way to live with it, install an aftermarket transmission oil cooler, and then drive the car properly. Hiyo gari itakuserve sana. There are so many KCJs and even older ones zinatembea kwa barabara. You know that all what that vehicle needs is good care. Don't drive it like a maniac. And also use genuine Nissan. Its gearbox uses the NS2 CVTF. Na pia ukiweka kakula itakuwa tu sawa, because you're not going to experience the overheating. Na hiyo gari hata ukisema ubadilishe gearbox ya T31 I think is less than 50k. So yes, it's a car that you can actually have. Ahab, jina ni ngumu. Yes, the name that starts with Ahab. Hi Eric, thanks for the good work done. I have a Ractis 2008, but I feel so uncomfortable while driving on bad roads. Are there parts of the suspension that can solve this problem? Ahab, I would like to ask you one very simple question. Umeweka the heavy duty coil springs, because I have a feeling that is what is causing that. Pat Wanjao is saying, hello and good evening, sir. To pay pros and cons, the Renault Duster all-wheel drive and its off-road manners. The Renault Duster is actually a very good car, only that Faransa aliamua ite hiyo gari Duster. One, its advantages, it has good ground clearance, it is quite versatile. Looks are relative. There are guys who say it looks good. There are other people who say it doesn't look really nice. The off-road cred on it is quite good. But now the biggest problem you'll have with a Duster is one, availability of parts, and number two, okay, availability of parts is relative because these days you can import those parts very easily. But in terms of resale value, sometimes tunasemanga, oh, we don't care about resale value until time utaenda uambiwe hii gari labda tukupatia 200. That is when you start knowing that resale value sometimes is important. But generally, I would say if you're considering the Duster, make sure wewe ni msee wa magari, msee anaweza enda the extra mile to look for some of these parts. The guys who bought them zero mileage are actually surviving with them because they were nice cars. It will have probably 10 years before uanze kuitisha vitu. Then after that, ukiwa msee mjanja unaweza letanga hizi vitu and you will survive with the Duster. Evans Mugambi is saying between Impreza with an FB16 and Axela with a 1500cc, all 2018 models, which one would you recommend? I would prefer the Axela with a 1500cc because it has better fuel economy and a better response. So you will have, you will save on your pocket and also enjoy while driving. Samuel 3660 saying it's not consuming oil. My concern was whether it will start consuming after I start using 0W20 at my current mileage of 75,000 kilometers. Samuel, continue using 5W30. Lenny Mashari is saying, na hizi gari za China Eric zikoaje akina Skyworth? Gari za China, the Chinese have upped their game in terms of their vehicles, even their build quality, their looks. The Chinese are very good with aesthetics. Their cars at very good prices. But the only problem is, you see, you cannot say they are good until they last the first 10 years. Hiyo ndio inakuanga shida kubwa sana ya kukua kwa hii field ya magari, because mtu atakuja kuuliza jet wa T2 itakuwa aje. And my question normally is, can we have this discussion after 5 or so years, because we might not know how it's going to fare on, especially in our conditions, how the after sales is going to be, because the Chinese have one problem, after sales. That's one problem that the Chinese have, and I hope they are rectifying their supply chains. And this is because the Chinese upgrade their vehicles very quickly. The guys who bought the first 4 trucks, those ones can attest, because hizo gari 3 years kuna spares upati, because there is a new model. The truck is good, but the parts are a bit hard to come by. So in fact, the problem with Chinese ni hiyo tu, they upgrade their vehicles very quickly. And I'll give you practical examples. Siku hizi ni wapi unaona Grand Tiger? Sasa ukitaka spring ya Grand Tiger utatoa wapi? Haya, ukitaka spring ya Cherry Tiggo utatoka wapi? Sasa the Cherry Tiggo that is in the market is a very different Cherry Tiggo from what was back then. So even if you walk to the dealer, they probably don't have parts for that. And that's the biggest problem. And that's why we normally say the European and the Japanese cracked the automobile market. The Chinese are coming, and I agree, but they will have to sort out their supply chain issues. And the reason why the Chinese are doing that is that the Chinese are not building cars to last. They are building cars that will probably have some planned obsolescence. So you when you're buying these cars, somebody buying a jet tour today is not somebody who is looking at staying with that car for 10 years. And that's what the mind of the most Chinese manufacturers. They build very fancy vehicles to last. Nile mnaitanga short and sweet. Hiyo. Tuendelee. Ahab is saying, Eric, I didn't get well your question about the Racti suspension. Well, have you tried to increase the ground clearance? Have you installed the heavy duty springs on the car? That was the question. Malcolm is saying, what are your thoughts on the version 6 SF5, especially if you find that has been taken care of with some mods? If I was to buy an SF5 with a version 6, I would prefer one that is stock and not modded. They were nice cars. In fact, SFs, the SF is, I know this will sound controversial. Well, in my hierarchy of Foresters, my favorite Forester is the SG5 or the SG5 stroke SG9 followed by the SF. Those were the two real Foresters. Although the SF was largely based on the Impreza, which is a good thing. The SG now ikaanza kukua Forester yenyewe, like an independent platform. So SFs were very beautiful. The shape ya SF ilikuwa inakaa fiti sana. I loved how that SF looked like. It was a beautiful car, timeless car. So buying it with a version 6, I would prefer to buy it stock. So if I'm doing any mods, I'll do them in Tanza. Mods sometimes can be quite tricky. Josh Foreman is saying nobody is building cars to last these days. That is true, Josh. I agree. I agree. Evans Bugambi is saying, what used compact SUV can you recommend I buy with 1.5 million? I want good consumption and response. Unfortunately, if you're buying a compact crossover SUV with 1.5 million Kenya shillings, you will have to buy locally used. Are you open to locally used? Answer that. Kevin Wekesa is saying, I've never seen you doing a proper review of the Mitsubishi Outlander new model. Kevin Wekesa, which is the Mitsubishi Outlander new model? Tafadhali. Niambie, ni ya mwaka gani? Yes. Dedan Kegesa is saying, Mitsubishi RVR for first-time car owner, its reliability and maintenance. RVRs were not bad. They are relatively easy to maintain. Zinanga mambo mob. But one thing I'll tell you is that they might not be the fastest, unless you get the UK version that is called the ASX, that comes with a diesel engine and a manual transmission. The modern ones, I believe, are also coming with a turbocharged engine. But hizi zingine kama nafikiria ni ile RVR ya kawaida, it's a good car. It's not fast, but it's a good point A to point B vehicle. It's versatile, has good ground clearance. I would prefer you buy one with 4-wheel drive. Yeah. So KAA is saying Toyota Mark 2 2.0 AWD kwaje? Najua 4K. Nagongwa 450K. If it's clean, it's a good deal. If it's clean, it's a good deal. If it's clean, it's a good deal. The only challenge with the all-wheel drive Mark 2 is mechanics wakibadilisha vitu huko mbele they will be cursing you. But anyway, that's what you pay them. So lipa kutengeneza gari. Yeah, so I would say for 50K is a good deal. If the vehicle is clean, that's a good deal. I think Frederick anasema RVR inafanya 0 to 100 in 3 business days. I agree. That is true. In fact, mimi nilisema hiyo kitu mahali. It's not fast, but it's a good car. Evans Bugambi is saying he wants a locally used one. So if you're looking for a locally used subcompact crossover SUV, you can get for 1.5. If you're looking at a vehicle that is not very old, I'm sure you can get the non-hybrid vessels zile za kwanza huko 2014. Those ones you can get. You can get a 2014 Mazda CX-5 petrol 2-liter if you're lucky, ama ukitafuta hard enough. You can get a Subaru Forester SH5. That would be a good option, but also angalia isikuwe gari imetumika vibaya. The other one, you can get a Toyota Vanguard or RAV4, but make sure isikuwe pia imetumika vibaya, and that is if you don't mind fuel economy, because their fuel economy is not also very good. So those are just but some of the vehicles that you can get. Also you can get gari ingine inakuwa Honda CRV. Unaweza pata Honda CRV fiti na 1.5 car that is decently used. I'm trying to look for another vehicle. Nissan X-Trail T31. I know it might sound off, but your gari is very easy to maintain, especially ukipata safi. It's a car. The only thing that Nissan messed up was on their gearboxes, and the one on the T31 is actually a very simple CVT, because it runs on the NS2. Yeah. So, and it also hata ikichapa hiyo gear si expensive, si kama ya T32. T32 unaenda unaambiwa gearbox ni 1400 ama 350, but the T31 it should set you back less than 50K. So it's not a bad vehicle. It's a vehicle that you can consider. It's very comfortable, but fuel economy kidogo si fiti sana. Sawa. Last question that I'm answering today before we let me answer these ones very quickly. Lenny Mashari is saying, how is the hard to move for a family car? It's a good car. It's a good car. As long as you're not baby mizigo mizito na you're not abusing the car, it's a good car. Pat Wanjao is saying, how is the Nissan NP300 hard body locally assembled? Kama iko na TD27 ama QD32, buy that car. You'll not kill it. Arthur Jean is saying, hey Eric, how is the VW Tiguan? Tiguans are good, but you have to also ujue iko na engine gani. Is it coming with a 2-liter TDI? Is it coming with a 1.5-liter 1.4-liter EA to 11 or the 2-liter EA 888. But generally, they are good vehicles, economical on fuel, good on performance. But you will have to pay a little bit more for the maintaining it. Also, they require a mechanic who is very well versed with these Tiguans. Gakish Johnson is saying, hey Eric, 3.5 to 3.5 to 4 million max. Which crossover would you buy for? Which crossover for a lady? Fuel economy is not to worry. Sasa napenda watu kama hao. 3.5 to 4 million. Very nice, very nice. One that I'll give you is the Toyota Harrier ASU 65. The one that comes with a 2-liter 8AR turbocharged engine and a 6-speed automatic transmission that is called the U661. That is one Harrier that I would recommend any day, anytime. It has the performance, it has the looks, and the interior is premium. Alafu, ASU 65s come with a panoramic sunroof. They also come with all-wheel drive. So there is nothing more you would ask for that budget. Car number 2, Mazda CX-5, 2.5-liter petrol turbo. That's also another vehicle that you would go for. Hiyo nayo performance utafurahia sana sana sana. But do ladies value performance? These days, ladies, you never know. So also forgive me for getting very excited, because these are cars that trust me, they'll also excite you. So the other car for that price tag, if we shift towards the European side, I would also recommend you can import maybe a Volkswagen Tiguan 2-liter TDI. If you have somebody who can maintain it for you, that would be a very good car. The torque is nice, but if order to look at 2-liter TDI, let's stick to the 1.4. It's also a very nice car, very responsive, and also even if you are not looking at the fuel economy, it will also get you good fuel economy. Sawa. Daniel is writing while deleting. Naona tuendelee. So the last 2 questions, Mutuku is saying, hello Okabi, how is the Toyota Succeed Probox with manual transmission compared to those with automatic? Is it reliable? Yes, manual, simpler the better, and they can withstand more abuse. So I'll say yes. And the last question, Ann Kinyua is saying, hi Eric, I'm a big fan. Yes, performance is key. So Ann Kinyua, yes, go for Toyota Harrier, not the ZSU 60. Listen keenly. Toyota Harrier ASU 65, Toyota Harrier ASU 65, 2-liter turbo with the U61 automatic transmission. It's a 6-speed. The Mazda CX-5 2.5-liter petrol. Mazda CX-5 2.5-liter petrol turbo. Hiyo pia utafurahia. Na last but not least, Volkswagen Tiguan. You can, if you now that you have performance, I would recommend you go for the 2-liter TDI. Ya kupatia fuel economy na nguvu iko nayo. It has enough torque to pull a charge. So, and also the TDI, the Tiguan TDI, the reason why I'm so specific on the Tiguan TDI is also it comes with the 4-motion system. 4-motion four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive system. So it's always an advantage if you have a four-wheel drive, an SUV a crossover SUV that has 4-wheel drive. It's rather pointless to have one that is 2-wheel drive. So thank you guys, and thank you for joining us. Asanteni sana for this Wednesday review. For this Wednesday Konnekt Live Q&A, I would like to remind you that kesho, 8 p.m., we have, in fact, Wacha nirudi kwa ule mtu wa SAF alikuwa anauliza kuhusu 1TR FE, the 2TR FE, the 2700cc petrol. Hatuwezi kaa bila power. Sawa. So tomorrow we are going to be having a very candid review on ambulances. Did you know that ambulances zinaweza simamishwa na karao? Did you know that ambulances are come in very different shapes and forms? Did you know that there is a special trim of the Toyota Hiace that comes specifically to be an ambulance, and it's called the High Medic? All that will be on tomorrow's ambulance review. So kesho saa 2 mkitoka job kuwa mmeketi chini muone story, because I'm sure we had a guy on that review called Alvin, and Alvin knows ambulances. Like, he knows ambulances like the palm of his hand. So I can tell you this is going to be a fire episode. So do not miss that episode. Now, and then pale kwa calendar weka reminder, because I'm sure you will not regret this episode. Now next week mambo inaendelea kuchemka zaidi. Yes, because Mazda lovers, there is a new inline 6 engine na zishaanza kuingia Kenya. Hiyo pia na tumewaandalia. So next week is going to be a very good week. Also, Wasewa Trucks, next week pia something else is cooking. So there is a lot that is coming, and we are trying to change our content kidogo. Isikuwa too much cliche, so that we also get to incorporate other stories, as well as the car buying guide is still there. And that's why we are dedicating an episode every week for the car buying guide. Then we're also going to have an episode for the commercial people, and also for unique car stories. Sawa. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. In fact, that episode had to wait until Thursday, because hii nayo itakuwa hii ni mwecheche. So kesho 8 p.m. out of Konnekt, kuja uone that review. Also remember to subscribe to the channel. Now, if you're in search of services such as pre-purchase inspection, consultation, direct importation, and also local sourcing, you can call us on 0710 844. Nakuanga gani? Nimesahau your number. I'm growing old. Yes. Ndio anazeeka bwana. Inakuanga? Yes, 844 863. How could I forget? Sawa. So thank you so much guys. Asanteni sana. Na thank you for joining us. Next Wednesday we are going to have our live. Sawa. Over and out.